Welcome to the deep dive. We've got something a bit different for you today.
Yeah, that's right. Instead of the usual articles and reports, we're taking a plunge into a piece of fiction.
A single book, yeah.
Yeah.
The Trueface of Imra Vail. And it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Absolutely. It's
Ah.
fiction, sure, but it holds up a mirror to some very real questions we're, grappling with today
Mhm.
about identity, technology.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the future, 2347. The setting is this huge megacity, New Carthage.
Right. And the key tech here is something called Dermoptica.
Dermoptica. And this basically lets people change how they look, like completely.
Instantly, on demand, total transformation.
Yeah.
And get this, it's considered a fundamental human right. They call it skin change.
A human right to change your appearance at will. Wow.
Yeah, just think about the societal shift that implies. Your appearance becomes as fluid as, I don't know, your mood.
You change to fit in or stand out,
Too
or
much
just
there.
because you feel like it on a Tuesday.
Exactly. Limitless visual possibility. But the book dives into a consequence.
Okay, what's that?
This idea of, well, an obliteration of identity, as the text puts it. If everyone's always changing,
How do you even recognize anyone? How does that work?
well, they have tech for that too. Memory implants that track neural signatures, not faces.
Neural signature. So, like, your unique brain pattern is your ID, not what you look like.
Precisely. Your face, your body. It's just temporary. Visual identity becomes ephemeral. Kind of makes you think about profile pics and filters today, doesn't it?
It really does. So that constant change is the norm.
Right.
Which brings us to Imra Vail,
Ah, Imra. She's the core of the story, the anomaly.
the 1 in 2.1 billion medical impossibility, right?
That's her. At age 6, they realize she can't change. Her Dermoptica just doesn't work.
She tries, but
Huh.
nothing. Same brown eyes, olive skin, black hair.
Always. Constant. After tons of medical tests, they just label her locked.
Locked. In a world built on unlocking appearances, what does society make of that?
Well, it splits people, Some see her as flawed, cursed even,
Right.
an error in the system.
But others?
Others see her as special, maybe even divine. A fixed point in all that fluidity. A symbol of something constant.
That sets up a huge tension right away.
Definitely. It reveals this deep unease maybe lurking beneath the surface of all that change.
So Imra growing up,
Yeah.
that must have been something else. Imagine school.
Yeah, the only kid with the same face day after day while everyone else shifts races, genders, looks.
Does she try to hide it? Like with tech?
Well, there are these older things called masks, external projectors. But no, she refuses.
She embraces being unchanging.
Actively. It's a conscious choice, not just acceptance, but a statement. In a world demanding change, she chooses permanence.
Which, you have to imagine, makes her stand out. Not necessarily in a good way at first.
Oh, absolutely. She goes from being a curiosity to, well, a target. Ridicule, jokes. They call her Phantom Girl.
Fangirl, ouch. Because she's like a ghost of a fixed identity.
Something like that. Her stability is seen as weird, backward, aberrant even.
Yeah.
But there's another side.
What's that?
Online, in these resistance forums, her image starts showing up. People see her constancy as a kind of lighthouse, something dependable.
Interesting. So she's already becoming a symbol, even just by existing.
Exactly. Which leads us to her 16th birthday and this group called the Dissolutionists.
Ah, okay. This feels like a turning point. Who are they? What's their deal?
They're led by this guy Talon, and their philosophy is, well, it's against the endless shifting.
Anti-skin change.
Anti-tech.
Not quite anti-tech, more. Anti-oblivion, they say. They believe that constant, unanchored change is a kind of death, a loss of the real self.
The death of identity. Okay.
Yeah. And they see Imra, her unchanging nature,
Mhm.
as vital. Talon calls her the first anchor,
The first anchor, someone solid in the flow, and they give her something.
a data crystal,
Hmm.
presumably containing their philosophy, maybe more. It really pushes her towards a more active role.
So fast forward a bit. By 21, Imra isn't just a curiosity anymore.
No, she's become a myth, a symbol of resistance. People call her the Trueface, the unmasked, even Mother Stone. Mother Stone. Wow. They're writing songs about her.
They are. And her speeches, interestingly, they don't attack skin change itself. Not really.
What's her message, then?
It's about choice. Specifically, the lost choice not to change. She argues for grounding, for truth, for the value of stability alongside fluidity.
So not smashing the machines, but asking for the right to just be.
Exactly. And that message resonates a lot, which naturally worries the government.
Yeah, I bet. How do they react?
They escalate. Bans on her image, censorship, covert raids trying to catch her. But she has allies, tech. She stays hidden.
Her very existence is a challenge to their whole system.
Totally. And then things escalate even further. People start choosing not to change.
Voluntarily. How?
This thing called the anchor virus starts circulating underground. It lets people disable their Dermoptica, temporarily or permanently.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So people are actively choosing to be locked, like Imra.
Yes. And it causes panic, social panic, economic panic. The whole identity-based economy starts shaking.
Because the system relies on constant consumption of new looks, new identities.
Pretty much. So the prime executive cracks down hard. Martial law.
And this lockdown protocol.
Yeah, it basically criminalizes not using Skinchange. Staying the same becomes illegal. The official line is stagnation is decay.
Stagnation is decay. That's chilling. And Imra.
Declared enemy zero. Talon, the dissolutionist leader, is caught and executed.
Does he say anything?
His last message, encrypted, is just, truth is not mutable. Powerful stuff.
And Imra goes deeper underground.
She does, but her face, her unchanging face, is everywhere. Graffiti, projections, memes. It's the ultimate symbol of defiance.
Even in hiding, she's incredibly visible.
More visible than ever, in a way.
Yeah.
Then, at age 25, she does something totally unexpected.
Yeah,
She
what?
surrenders, just walks out into the open.
Surrenders. Why? That seems counterintuitive.
It's a strategic masterstroke, actually. She appears on the world feed, unaltered.
The first real, unchanging human face billions have seen in.
How long? Decades, probably. And her message is simple. She just says, I am real, and demands to be allowed to exist.
Wow. And she wants a public trial.
Exactly. She's taking her case directly to the people, bypassing the government narrative.
What's the impact of people actually seeing her unfiltered?
It's seismic. Billions seeing this constant face. It triggers something. A collective memory, maybe? A sense of something authentic they've loved.
And the world feed crashes.
Crashes hard, apparently from the sheer volume of people copying and sharing her image. The resistance calls it the mirror event.
The mirror event, because she forced everyone to look at themselves.
Look at themselves, look at their fluid society, and maybe question it. It's a massive disruption. Her simple presence breaks the system.
So what happens after that? Does the government just collapse?
Not instantly, but the lockdown fails. The anchor virus keeps spreading. The desire for stability, for being locked, becomes widespread.
And this leads to actual physical separation.
Yeah, we see the rise of stone cities, or stone sectors within cities. Places where Skinchange is disabled, where people choose permanence.
So society literally fractures based on whether you change or not.
It does. New Carthage starts breaking apart. The phenomenon spreads to other cities, even off-world colonies. You get the fluid versus the locked.
Is it outright war?
More like a quiet segregation, the book suggests. Two fundamentally different ways of living emerging side by side, but separate.
And Imra, what happens to her after the trial, the mirror event?
She disappears again. Theories abound, but nobody knows for sure. She becomes even more legendary.
Does she leave any final message?
Just one last recorded statement. It emphasizes choice, again. Choice as the soul of humanity, and critically the right to stay the same as part of that choice.
The right to stay the same. That's the core of her legacy, isn't it?
Absolutely. Fast forward 100 years in the story.
What does the world look like?
It's different. Kids are still born with Skinchange capability, but they don't all use it, or not all the time.
So the choice is real now.
It seems so. There are new generations growing up in stone cities, choosing their own balance. The word locked, once that insult.
Becomes.
A badge of honor, almost. A statement of identity.
And Imra.
Oh, yes. There's a statue of her on Mars, in the library of the Trueface.
What does the inscription say?
Just 3 words. I stayed me.
Wow. I stayed me. That sums it all up.
It really does. Her whole journey was about challenging this idea that identity must be fluid, that change is the only valid state. She proved the power of constancy.
So bringing this back to us, to you listening.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have Dermoptica.
Not yet, anyway.
Right. But we do live in a world of constant updates, digital personas, social pressure to adapt, to rebrand.
Yeah, the pressure to present an ever-shifting image online, or even in real life. It's intense sometimes.
And Imra's story really forces us to think about that balance, you know, the freedom to change versus the importance of, well, an authentic self, something stable underneath.
So the final thought we want to leave you with, something to maybe mull over in our own world, with all its pressures to transform externally and internally. What does it actually mean to stay you?
And why might choosing that stability, that consistency, be kind of radical even today?
It's a big question. What's the value of staying you when everything pushes you to become something else, makes you think